Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Ticket Blitz Thursday, about 6 minutes away. Rufus Du Sol at Wrigley Field. Those tickets can be yours starting at 8 and then every hour after. And then after 8 o'clock, like we've been doing all week, it's another trip to Universal Orlando Resort. We've done this for like a month, and we have another outstanding trip for you coming up just after 8 o'clock. But first, in the world of love. And we get a lot of DMs. We love our communication with our listeners all day long after the show, through DMs, through texting, through social media, all of it. And we really do love it. We feel we've created this great community here where you can share. And it's hard to go through everything. Sometimes we miss stuff, and we apologize if we don't get back to you on something.
And by the way, if you are going through any sort of relationship strife or life strife and you want our advice on it, you can always reach out to us on the Q101 Chicago social media. We would love to field more of those DMs.
Love it.
Also, we may not help a lot, but you're more than welcome to run it past us.
Yeah, if you're just looking for
You
us.
might be like, I'm not going to do any of that.
Well, you
But
might.
we would love to talk about it.
You might just be looking to rant, and we may not have the solution for you, but just to get it out, we're here for you. Mm-hmm. We're here for you.
We are your lifeline.
And this one we found in all the, hundreds of DMs that really stood out. And Case found this one, and we wanted to read it on the air and see, because they're looking for some help from y'all. So let's get through it here. And it's a guy and a girl live together. They're about in the 30-year-old range is what they say here in the DM. And this is the boyfriend. And he's saying, the DM to us. Last month, my girlfriend and I moved into a one-bedroom apartment together in Chicago. We've been together for about a year. He says, I pay for the majority of the rent and expenses.
Purr.
You like that, Kenzie?
That's what I'm talking about. Good stuff. I like it already. Keep going.
And he kind of said, he wasn't trying to flex with that. He just said, like, for context, to let you know what's going on, I pay.
He said, I'm a provider, bitch. Let's clarify from the jump.
Well, I don't see the word bitch in here, but if you want to add that in, it's fine.
He said, I'm providing. That's what I'm talking about.
I guess that leads to where he's going here, because he said, since moving in together, she has mentioned the desire for a puppy. She wanted a puppy. I like dogs, he says. However, I'm not ready for a puppy right now, as I'm well aware of the workload required to raise one properly. I told her that I'm open to the idea of an older dog in the future, which made me laugh really hard when I read that. Just give me a dog that's about to go in the ground. I can do 6 months with an old dog.
He doesn't want to like potty train and stuff. That's what he's saying.
I like the idea of adopting an older dog, because you don't want to deal with any of the early stuff, and they'll just sit around and look at you, and kind of you can scratch their head now and then. That made me laugh really hard when I read that. I want an older dog. But definitely not right now, he said. He's not even an older dog he's not ready for. Part of the reason is that I work from home, and I do not have the time to let the dog out every 45 minutes, and I could not have made it clearer how I felt on this issue. That's a clear statement right there.
Yes.
Okay. When I came home a week ago, there was an 8-week-old yellow lab in my apartment.
Cute.
Definitely cute. She works from an office, so I have spent the entire week taking care of the dog. He says, it's a great puppy, and I take amazing care of it. However, it is starting to kill me. Those are his words. I don't know if
dying inside.
My life's a disaster zone. It got that heat energy when I read that.
Starting to kill me. It's a puppy.
Because he's being very sensitive and, very appropriate to his girl here. But then when he says it's starting to kill me, then I hear how on the edge this guy is.
Oh, yeah.
My partner has taken accountability for messing up, which is really nice. Promised to take care of all puppy responsibilities and promised to never do anything like this again. She's also said she will not rehome the dog.
Right. She's not going to give the dog away.
Right. She took accountability.
She made a commitment. That's not fair to the puppy.
Well, we'll get our comments here at the end, because that might have been an answer to the situation, because it was only there a few weeks. So he says now, a few weeks ago, I thought this was the woman I was going to marry. She has so many great qualities and is a wonderful person. Now I can't even stand being home. I find an excuse to leave. I'm afraid that I'm starting to resent her for this decision. It is crazy to throw away an otherwise great relationship because of this. To be honest, I'm shocked that I feel this disrespected and hurt. I don't know if I'm being unreasonable or not. And that's anonymous, signed anonymous. That's a tough one.
That is tough.
Because I never could have a dog growing up because my dad didn't like dogs, and I always thought I wanted a dog. And now in my life, I just love other people's dogs. I don't want the responsibility either to raise a dog.
I totally get it, Brian. I can't have anything else that's alive in my house because if I turn around and one more person needs something, I'll explode. And that's not fair to a puppy who's waiting.
Yeah,
not fair.
Because all they do is want attention and love. That's all,
Yes,
and that's what they bring
it's adorable.
too. Yeah.
Can I tell you where she messed up?
Yes.
So if you want something and you see your life, you see your undisturbed life, she should have come in hot and heavy. She should have told him, I want a baby. And he would have been like, no. And then she'd be like, well, I need something. Then can we compromise and get a puppy? Even though she wanted a puppy the whole time. Because he would have felt much better about getting a puppy than having a baby. That's where she effed up. Then he would have agreed to it. He would have thought he was in a better situation than having a baby. It's a win.
See how manipulative women are? Right? You're just seeing it right here.
Look, I love taking the side of the woman, but everything Kenzie just said was insane.
It's true.
Get a
If he would have
plant.
agreed, could you imagine if he would have agreed to the puppy because he thought she was like wanted a baby? He wouldn't feel the way he feels, and they would have had a cute puppy. Everyone wins. He thinks he's winning. She's 100% winning.
I got to admit, Kenzie's not that wrong on that point. I could
That's
see
what you
that.
gotta
I'm not
do.
saying it's right. I'm saying I understand
Well, it's
it.
definitely not right. I also think it happens to be wrong.
Why is it wrong?
Speak on that.
Why is it wrong?
Well, first of all, what if he says yes to the baby endeavor? Now she's having a baby that she doesn't want.
Well,
That's tricky.
Good point.
Because he might be really into human babies and less into dog babies.
Yeah.
Well, then you just pretend you can't have one.
How do you do
No,
that?
I tried. Oh my God, it didn't work.
Well, how do you
You
fake?
get to it later.
Wait, how do you fake trying?
You put an IUD in and
I was gonna say what?
I can't give you all of my insane tips at once.
No, I need to hear all of them.
You put an IUD in and you don't tell me. You go, I can't believe this isn't working. Oh, I want it just as bad as you do. Let's get a puppy. I'm sad. I can't have a baby.
God, is this an eye opener?
Kenzie,
So-
I need you to be really honest with all of Chicagoland right now.
What?
Have you secretly put an IUD in before?
That's none of your business.
Oh my God.
I don't have one right now. That's all I can say.
When's the last time you had one?
A couple years ago.
Wait, you had a baby a couple years ago, though.
I know, but I took it out to have the baby when I wanted one.
Wow. I think we can forget about this couple. I don't care anymore about the damn dog.
I have new relationship drama that I'd like to unpack on the show.
Listen, either way, you end up with the puppy. You either say, I want a baby. He's like, oh my gosh, no. You compromise on the puppy when you wanted a puppy the whole time. He agrees to the baby. You put an IUD in. You can't have a baby. You're sad. You compromise on a puppy. You win. That's what you do.
I'm not speechless too often.
No, I think we have to give away Rufus Du Sol tickets.
I don't know what to say.
I need a breather.
I need to. Well, first off, help this couple. Maybe Kenzie may have helped them.
I don't think she did.
Well, it's too late because, like you said, the woman needed to do what she did first if she wanted to go that route and get the puppy and not the baby. Because who wants that baby?
Just get a plant.
Angelica checked in and said, Kenzie, stop telling our women secrets. There's another one out there. There's another one.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, just about 120 seconds away from the next chance to qualify for a trip to Universal Orlando Resort. A fantastic trip for four with everything included. We'll talk about that in just a couple seconds. First off, we were talking about a couple in Chicago that DM'd us. They live together, not married, and the wife wanted a puppy, or I should say the girlfriend, and then the boyfriend said, not right now, but she went ahead and got the puppy, and now he's taking care of it, and he feels like it's ruining their relationship, and she will not rehome the puppy.
Which I think, well, unless they're going to be like mean to the puppy, then you rehome the puppy. But if you make the commitment, like you can't just, people treat animals way too often like it's like a loosey-goosey decision. You can't do that. If you bring something into your home, it's a living being. You should absolutely take it on.
And it sounds like they're taking care of it okay, but if you're not, you should rehome the dog or
Right.
cat.
I mean, if you're not going to take care of it.
You can find a good home. You can find somebody good. Now, Kenzie had an answer to the situation. She should have asked for a baby. He would have said, I'm not ready for a baby. And then she could have said, how about a dog? And Kay said, well, what if she said yes to the baby? And Kenzie said, well, we should secretly put in an IUD. And
then she can be sad she can't have the baby, and then they get a dog still.
a dog to make up for not being able to have a baby.
Right. And then later when they try again to take the IUD out, they'll be happy. Everyone's happy.
So if you're just joining us, now you're caught up.
If you're caught up now to the psychosis of the show, I can't see.
I know there's a lot going on in the car this morning. Glad we're all on the same page
You
now.
guys are really blowing this up. Nobody gets hurt. They're getting a puppy.
You
Who
don't-
cares if she found a way? Okay, doing that and getting him to agree to it, so mentally he's in a better place by getting the puppy. That's worse and that's crazy versus just blowing off their agreement and getting one he didn't feel ready. At least in my position, they both agree on it and he's happy about it and he would have a different mental setting going into it. What's worse? She's not crazy?
You don't think no one's hurt when a man can't make a baby?
I'm not saying that. They just be like, oh, it's not working right now. It could be her.
Well, it's not working right now. Man thinks it's
try
him.
again later.
The man, yeah, right. That's not going to hurt the man's
We'll
ego
try
at
again
all.
later.
He's
It's fine.
destroyed. His soul is
He
gone.
wanted to have the baby. That wouldn't have happened anyways.
You don't know that.
If he didn't feel ready for a dog, there's no way he felt ready for a baby.
But I'd rather have a baby than a dog at this stage of my life.
Because you're desperate. That's totally different.
I'm not sure I agree with that either.
All right, let's get
I didn't say that I wanted a baby. I would just rather have a baby than a dog.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference there.
Ideally, I'm not having either, but now I got to ask some questions to the people that I'm seeing.
Well, the text line checked in. Sean says, Kenzie, baby and potato postponer.
Wow.
Oh, boy, that's a good one.
What a horrible reputation to have.
That's where you're at for 2026 right now, Kenzie.
Sorry.
But you still have 3 of your vetoes in stock.
I do. Apparently, I should have used one today. I didn't know that this was you guys were going to be so judgy. Paul texted in and said, I have a puppy, a cat, and a son. My eyes have now been opened to how bad I've been manipulated.
Yeah, what is she saying to him? Good Lord. Case, what do you got on the text line?
Well, Kenzie, now you don't feel so alone. 708 checked in with all exclamation points. Yes, Kenzie, this is what I've done.
Yeah, a lot. There's multiple of those.
Yes.
Hiding IUDs of men.
Who knew?
She probably means the puppy part. That was a severe.
No,
okay.
I don't think so.
No, I would like to clarify. My idea was pitch a baby. He's going to be like, that's a lot. Agree on a puppy. Kay went down a different road. I just gave a solution to that. That wasn't it wasn't the long goal. Okay. It was like, ugh, off the top of my head.
I like.
That's probably what I would do.
I like.
Just brainstorming here.
Hey, quick, kicking the can around. That's probably the solution. All I said was if she really wanted the puppy, she should have said she wanted a baby. He'd say, that's a lot. She'd be like, what about a puppy then? And then they would have both been excited about it. It's not that bad. Relax. Whatever.
I love George, the therapist, texting and saying, I was going to call in for this conversation, but I changed my mind. All right, Universal Orlando Resort, something completely different. You can go there, and there's no lying, just having a great time. Trip for 4, whether it's your family, whether it is a girls' trip or a guys' trip, having a good time at Universal Orlando Resort, where we went a month ago, and it was just so memorable of our dysfunctional family being there. And you get round-trip airfare to Orlando provided by Spirit. It's a trip for 4, ground transportation between the airport and hotel. You will feel like a VIP. 4-night accommodations at the incredibly beautiful Terra Luna Resort. That's the Universal Terra Luna Resort. And admission to all 4 parks. Call now, 312-591-8300. You are qualified for the trip. We will draw the winner of the trip tomorrow. We'll get one more qualifier at this time tomorrow, right around 8:10, and then draw the winner afterwards. So call now to qualify.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
A reminder at this time, tomorrow, Case's movie review will be at 8 o'clock, and he's going to do Pretty in Pink on the anniversary of that stellar movie. So Pretty in Pink tomorrow, Case's movie review with Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Now, we've had a lot the last half hour of interactions on a DM we got from a couple having a problem. And I want to reread it again. If you just joined us or maybe you missed half of it, whatever. I want to reread it again as we're still discussing the solution here. Kenzie gave her solution, but we're going to give another.
And we're done with that. Let's move on to some other solutions.
So this is the DM we got from a couple. It's a girlfriend and a boyfriend. They're not married. They're around 30 years old. And here's what they said. Here's what the boyfriend said. Last month, my girlfriend and I moved into a one-bedroom apartment in Chicago. We've been together for about a year. He says, for context, I pay for the majority of rent and expenses. Mm-hmm. Since moving in, she mentioned her desire for a puppy. I like dogs. However, I'm not ready for a puppy right now, and I'm well aware of the workload required to raise one properly. I told her that I'm open later to maybe adopting an older dog, but not right now. Part of the reason is I work from home. I do not have the time to let a dog out every 45 minutes. I could not have made it clearer how I felt on the issue. When I came home a week ago, there you go. There was an 8-week-old yellow lab in my apartment. She works from an office, so I've spent my entire week taking care of the dog. It's a great puppy, and I take amazing care of it. However, it's starting to kill me. My partner has taken accountability for messing up, which is nice, promised to take care of the puppy responsibilities, and promised to never do anything like this again. She also said she will not rehome the puppy, which could cause, an issue if it's going to stay there. So, a few weeks ago, I thought this was the woman I was going to marry. She has so many great qualities and is a wonderful person. Now, though, I can't even stand being in my own home. I find any excuse to leave. I'm afraid that I'm starting to resent her. And that's a pretty open statement. He's not saying he's pissed off at her about the situation. He's pissed off.
He's almost like understanding, like, I know mistakes happen. She took accountability, but like it's still there. And sometimes that happens when somebody makes a mistake. You're still frustrated.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to resent her, but he is because of just coming. He doesn't want to be around the whole situation. He finishes with this. It's crazy to throw away an otherwise great relationship because of this. To be honest, I'm shocked that I feel this disrespected and hurt. I don't know if I'm being unreasonable or not. And that's kind of a little bit of the question, the whole thing, but the end there too, that you can chime in on at 312-591-8300 to help out. And maybe you've been to this situation. Check in with us. I've got thoughts on this, and we'll give our thoughts and more and yours after Lola Young. So check in, 312-591-8300. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and help our listeners.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We'll give out the keyword shortly for Rufus Du Sol. Ticket Blitz Thursday. We'll give it to you again here in about 4 minutes. So hang tight if you want to go to Wrigley Field to see Rufus Du Sol with Brian and Kenzie on Q101 as it's Ticket Blitz Thursday. We talked about this DM we got from a listener where their boyfriend, girlfriend, she wanted to bring a dog home. He said, no, let's wait. She brought the dog home anyway, causing massive strife in their relationship. And he's even questioning whether she's the woman for him. And he's being very nice about it. He's not being a jerk. He's just kind of saying, like, I just don't believe the situation I got in here.
It really bothered him. Like, sometimes there's different no's in your relationship. Like, we all have someone who's like, I do want a dog, but I don't know. Maybe just not right now. And then there's like a hell no, I don't want this.
Yes.
Right? And I think she realized she just pushed the hell no boundary. It was like a deal-breaking boundary, right?
Right.
So that's what we've learned today.
And Kenzie joked about possibly maybe she should have asked for a baby. And then when he said no, or no, maybe he would say yes, then you put in an IUD so you don't get a baby.
Stop bringing that up. Okay, we're done with that.
No, I'm just saying that this.
I said if he didn't want a lot of responsibility, that she could have said baby, and then he's like, I don't want that. They could have compromised on a dog. Now, if he still didn't want that, what could have been a great compromise is a cat, because I think like he was worried about letting the cat or the dog out so often. A cat could have been a really good compromise. It's just that a cat compromising. I will say, she is 100% wrong. I hate when people just disregard your conversation. If she didn't want to let it go, she should have worked harder on convincing him and got him to agree.
No.
She should have not dropped it if it was that important to her, because it is messed up to be like, I just didn't listen to the entire conversation we had. So I am on his side in that respect.
Yeah, cats you can kind of leave alone for like weeks. They don't care if you're home. They don't want you home.
They
Cats
don't want
most
you
of the
home.
time.
They're like, you're my servant.
So Kip, we have him labeled in the system as MMA Kip. He said, be careful. When I got married, my wife wanted a baby, but every time it came up, we rescued a dog instead.
Oh.
I kept putting it off, and we ended up having 12 dogs. The baby.
Damn. They wanted a baby many times.
He says, wish I was kidding. Now I have an ex-wife, 2 elder dogs, and a timber wolf.
Oh, my God.
So that's what he's got left in his life there.
That's a lot of work.
Also, an interesting text from John in this situation where he said, this would be a similar situation where he said, sorry I cheated, but now my girlfriend's going to move in the house for 15 years, which is like having a dog in the house. That puts it in perspective.
I don't know if that's the same.
That's wild. All right, so we have a lot of people checking on the phones as well. Jamie from Oswego. Jamie, ahoy. How you doing today? And you have a comment about this situation.
Yes, ahoy. Love your show.
Thank you.
What I wanted to say about the dog was, one, she was absolutely wrong in not having a total agreement. But number two is, he can have resentment, but if he's questioning if she's the right gal for her, then she needs to take that dog and go, because it could be an excuse of using the dog as maybe another reason why he doesn't want to spend his life with her.
You think he already didn't want to if this is bringing those feelings up?
Well, it's a complicated thing. I went through the same thing with my husband. I said, there are 3 things in life I need: faith, children, and a dog. And if you can't do that, we're not the perfect match. And once we got married, he kept on hemming and hawing, saying, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. And it was a commitment thing. But after 6 months after we were married and there turned out to be the right puppy at the right time, I said, this is happening. You know, there's some guys that may not want that commitment of a dog, and we totally get that. But if he can't, if the dog is already in the home, and yes, he's doing the brunt of it because he's at home and she's not, which is not cool. But if he's not loving that whole environment right now and he's pining over that decision, then I don't think they're the right couple to be together.
There's a great line from Knocked Up with the late, great Chicago and Harold Ramis when he's talking about the baby, and then Harold Ramis goes, life doesn't care about your plans.
Oh.
You had all these plans. Life doesn't care.
But that was philosophical. I wasn't expecting that from Knocked Up.
No, it's so true.
Yeah, life doesn't care about your plans. So if the right dog came around, like in her situation and Jamie's situation, or the baby comes, you have to deal with it. You can't just be mad and say you're not the right person for me. You have to deal together with it in that situation. Thanks for checking in, Jamie. Appreciate that. We have Morgan checking in from Berwyn. Morgan, ahoy. How you doing?
Great. How's it going?
Okay, what's your comment on this situation?
I've been the girl who came home with a puppy without permission.
Oh, boy. It's one of those. One of them.
But it worked out for me because we're now married and my dog's 10 years old now. So a little bit different. I don't know. I just think from her perspective, she probably didn't see it as being disrespectful necessarily. So I understand where he's coming from. But I also think that maybe if he tries to see from her perspective, that she, like, her intentions were not to disrespect him.
But don't you think intentionally, maybe not, but it is. There's no question when you agree on something, this is pretty big. This is because a lot of our listeners, they have fur babies. They don't want babies, but they say, I have my fur babies. They are equal to someone else having a child. The dog, cat, whatever animal it is a child in the relationship. So you're bringing home a child.
Well, okay, calm down, Brian.
I'm sorry.
Here's
That's what it is. You're bringing home a child.
Can I just say, I think the number one thing that people have a hard time doing, especially in relationships, because everyone wants what they want, right, is that you have a hard time seeing it from the other perspective. So in her mind, she's so excited about a dog, and dogs are, especially puppies, they're so sweet, they're heart-melting. She's like, I'm going to bring this puppy home, and he's going to love it because she's seeing it through.
He's going to love it.
All right, thank you for chiming in, Morgan.
She's going to love it. And that's the problem. Because she should have been going, okay, but if he's that angry about it, if somebody did something that I was that against, we have a hard time swapping the shoes. So in her mind, she was doing something that he was going to end up falling in love with, but that's not the case because he's doing a lot of work, so he didn't fall in love with it.
He's going to love it. Morgan, so good.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.